Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, love that sound. Welcome to Liberty Libations number 47. My name is Jake Green, joined by Stephen Hilton, Alden Hardee, and Sam Whip. Sam, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, how's it going?
Pretty good. Can you tell folks who you are and why you're here?
Well, my name's Samuel. Sam Whip. I'm from the Black Flag podcast, and I was invited on. So I'm super excited to talk about this. I knew nothing about it till I knew I was coming on, so I did some research, and it's wild.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. I did so much research the past few days. It's yeah, and Alden's been doing research since the day it happened. Alden was probably there.
No. Is that really there now, though?
There were multiple shooters, so.
Yeah, it definitely.
There we go.
So.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of bookmarks in my web browser for this, and lo and behold, all the pages are gone. Yeah.
Fed meddling.
Wow. They already got to you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we do. We sadly, our producer is actually on the ground in Las Vegas for this show, so he won't be joining us, and he actually won't be reporting from the ground, which is really unfortunate.
We're doing target practice, right?
Yeah. For anybody who's interested, just to kick things off, anybody's interested in the Libertarian Party, any ideas that surround freedom and liberty and that sort of thing, go to lpgeorgia.com if you live in Georgia. If you don't, go to lp.org, learn all about what we believe in, what we think, all the things that we're doing to help spread liberty around the United States and around Georgia. Yeah, let's get into it, y'all. Today, we're talking about the 2017 Las Vegas shooting, which left 60 people dead, hundreds injured, and took place under some very suspicious circumstances, and had some very interesting things happen afterwards. And before even, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, we'll have the suspicious sandwich here that we'll talk about.
Gosh, I love a good suspicious sandwich.
That's a hard thing to say, actually, though.
I kind of wanted to just give the official narrative of what happened. So this is the Wikipedia page. I thought it was about the most official narrative-y kind of thing that we could look at.
Right.
But it says, I'll just read the first two paragraphs and then we'll start talking about it. On October 1st, 2017, a mass shooting occurred when 64-year-old Stephen Paddock opened fire on the crowd attending the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival on the Las Vegas Strip in Nevada from his 32nd floor suites in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He fired more than 1,000 bullets, which that's lowballing it, killing 60 people and wounding at least 413. The ensuing panic brought the total number of injured to approximately 867. About an hour later, he was found dead in his room from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The motive for the shooting is officially undetermined. The incident is the deadliest mass shooting by a single gunman in American history. It focused attention on firearms laws in the U.S., particularly with regard to bump stocks, which Paddock used to fire shots in rapid succession at a rate similar to that of automatic firearms. Bump stocks were banned by the U.S. Justice Department in December 2018. Shocker. But the constitutionality of the ban remained under review until 2022 when the Supreme Court declined to hear the case.
Of course. Did they really? I didn't know about that.
And take note of who was president at the time. Mr. Take the guns first, ask questions later.
There we go. All right. Who wants to kick things off? Should we start with Stephen Paddock? Should we start talking about him first?
I mean,
Alden?
Might as well.
Yeah, Alden. What do you got on Stephen Paddock?
Stephen Paddock. I would first want to say no. Go ahead.
Extremely accurate with the bump stock.
I was going to question whether he used it or not. So I was going to say, before we jump into Stephen Paddock, should we go through like line by line the wiki thing and break down like what's weird about that even? Because that was definitely one that stood out to me.
Okay. Yeah. Let's bring it back up. Let's see. What was the line that you wanted to talk about?
Well, he's bringing up the bump stock thing in particular, which is absolutely just ridiculous to think that you would be able to hit your targets from that far with a bump stock.
Yeah, Paddock used to fire shots in rapid succession at a rate similar to that of automatic firearms.
Yeah.
It's just so, like, first of all, it's weird. That's what they focused on with the entire second paragraph.
I agree. Almost like it was planned there that was going to be a discussion topic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost like.
almost like that. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. What do y'all think about that whole?
And the other thing here that, like, do you remember when CNN officially early on was like in the day after was talking about how he so it says on Wiki, self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He offed himself in the room, kind of thing. CNN originally said he charged the door and shot at one of the officers, and they took him down, kind of thing. He like was at the door ready to take on the SWAT team as he came in the door, and he wrestled through him and got into the hallway. This is all CNN saying this.
Yeah.
But now you can't, find that, and CNN isn't saying that anymore because the official narrative is now switched to he shot himself before they got in.
Right.
But that was a thing.
To be fair, CNN yesterday also reported that Israel bombed a hospital in Palestine that didn't actually happen. So,
Yeah, it was the
no, that's I'm not surprised about that either. Yeah,
that's a funny story as well.
Yeah,
and CNN was also pushing the Jussie Smollett story, not far off from this Vegas shooting. So it's
Did any of you see like the photos of him supposedly shooting himself? Like there's, I think, injuries to his head, and then
there's one on his chest.
Yeah, one on his chest as well.
There's also a pool of blood that's fresh on an old pool of blood, basically on the ground. It looks weird. It's weird.
It looks really weird. Wow. Yeah.
So you shoot yourself in the chest and go, man, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And like he was underneath his rifle.
I bet
his pistol was on the couch.
Sure.
He was getting all perfect headshots except for himself that he decided to shoot himself in the chest.
Oh my God. That's both sad and funny.
Which, I do have law enforcement in my family, and I have been told that there are some suicide cases. You see some people with the double tap to the head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that reflex causes you to pull the trigger a second time. So that is possible.
In two different spots, though? Like,
no. It's just
right,
it's a bam bam. I mean, you see you'll have two exit wounds.
I believe that. I believe that because brain trauma causes your muscles to tense. So that would make sense if your finger would let go, or if it was like a short trigger pull.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen. If it's a long trigger pull, that ain't happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Not with my little Smith & Wesson bodyguard that's got like a 13-pound trigger pull. That's probably not happening. Like,
no.
Yeah. Well, and before we dive into Paddock, Alden, you mentioned that this could have been orchestrated as like a gun grab. It could be that, but it could also just be that there's just this maniacal cadre of gun grabbers to the side, just waiting for any news story to latch onto.
We have a culture of that kind of just waiting in the wings anyway. Yeah. I think there was multiple reasons why this happened, and I think some of it is policy. I think some of it is money. I think some of it is, man, it gets weird when you get into the Saudi Arabia side.
I think it was a botched assassination.
Saudi Arabia. I didn't hear
that.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying when you get into the Saudi side.
We'll get there.
Yeah, that's why I said teaser. Yeah.
Sam, it looked like you were about to say something. Did you have something to input?
No.
Okay, cool. So this came out earlier this year. Here we go. FBI documents give new view into Las Vegas shooter's mindset.
I can't wait.
This is from the AP. I just want you to take a breath before you read this idiot.
I haven't seen this one.
The high-stakes gambler who carried out the deadliest mass shooting in modern American history was apparently very angry over how the casinos were treating him despite his high roller status, according to a fellow gambler. And I kid you not, that is the premise of this entire article.
Wow.
The only motivation that they can release and that they've found through these documents that the FBI released earlier this year was that he was upset over the casinos treating him poorly.
That's it. That's what we're gonna.
That's it.
Wow.
Okay.
They have no motive. What are the three things to really go after somebody for a crime? It's motive, means, and opportunity. You have absolutely zero motive for this crime. So, like, why? I guess the biggest question for me is like, why was he there, and why is he the scapegoat if he is in fact a scapegoat?
At one point, they tried to say something about him being like a Trump supporter because Trump, was good for the stock market or something about that, even though anyone that knew him was like, he's not even a political guy. And then I'm like, why would you go, shoot up a country concert if you're a Trump supporter? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like that's so the motive thing has just been stretched so thin across this, and they've been rubber banding it with just trying kind of throwing noodles at the wall to see what'll stick, because there isn't one that we've seen, honestly. Not that I can tell.
Yeah, no, I've not been able to tell anything, any type of motive that I could like think of. I've not seen any proof that he had any type of motive whatsoever to do this. And
I should have brushed up on. There's so much to this. I couldn't brush up on all of it, but I remember seeing. I've got in my file somewhere like a report where he apparently said that like the FBI or the CIA or someone can like make him do things or something, like some MK Ultra type weird statement that he apparently made at one point. I need to look into this before I officially say this. So I'm going to see if I can even find this actually.
I was
it's
actually
super
just
weird.
pulling that up as well.
Awesome.
If one of us can find it.
He apparently told people around him he was a government experiment and would often lie in bed moaning and screaming in mental anguish.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird.
Holy mother of mercy.
So in my opinion, that makes more sense is if any of that is true. If it's not true, he's insane.
Right.
And if it is true, then that's all the motive you need. Is if you're an MK Ultra monkey, then you don't need a real motive. So
Well, and
They
it's
did
weird.
say They
Go
did
ahead.
say he went into like an insane asylum or something, but like everything is redacted, so it's like impossible to pull. It's just
it's
like
a mess.
Yeah. No, it's
A lot is redacted.
I mean, so
and it
much.
is weird that since the Aurora shooting in particular, we've had 4 or 5 mass shootings where the guys were claiming to be under some kind of government mind control, including James Holmes.
Yeah. And to steelman that argument, like it could legit just be crazy people who are paranoid.
That's why I said
and think that they are.
Yeah.
So like
either way,
that is an argument, and it's not the fun argument.
No, but I tried
It's an
to
argument.
pad with that it's possible, but again though, with motive, if that's true, then what motive do you really need to find if someone is truly insane? Then
Correct. To be fair though, like descriptions from his girlfriend did not make him sound insane.
No.
Descriptions from like fellow gamblers and like people who knew him,
right,
did not make him
neighbors
sound
and whatever,
crazy.
and no.
Well, he was a millionaire too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he lost like 1.5 million to casinos over the
Like, I need to lose some IQ points to get rich, I guess.
Yeah. He apparently wired like $100,000 to his girlfriend before he died, and paid off all his debts conveniently and everything before he went to do this. And like a bunch of money was moving around, and he owned like 19 different guns, but then bought like 20 new ones or something for this or whatever. Like he was burning through money before this, so he had access to like a lot of funds. But
is it true that like none of them had scopes, or just most
half of
didn't
them
have
had scopes?
half of them had scopes.
Yeah, like 8 of the 15 that he used had scope, so I guess under half. And then, between no scope on half of them and bump stocks, and he's getting headshots. I mean, that's just crazy, man.
Man, I've
that anyone would believe.
I watched a bunch of the footage from that documentary. We'll pull up the doc here in a bit so people can actually go watch it. 'Cause it's
totally worth
thoroughly
watching.
done. It's fantastic. I mean,
I
if
agree.
you can get past the first 4 minutes of her talking about herself and like what
Sure,
she's
yeah.
done and all of her ridiculous ideas.
I kind of agree with that, yeah. But like once she gets into the meat and potatoes of it, it's totally worthwhile, yeah.
100%. But let's see. So the Wikipedia article said over 1,000 bullets. This one says 22,000 people. Never mind. I misread that.
1,000 bullets and 400 injuries.
I guess it was 400.
I guess that makes sense.
Hit.
But at that distance, I mean, those are Hall of
60
Fame
killed.
numbers.
And
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, batting 1,000.
That is very impressive. And it was an insane number of perfect headshots.
At parallel to ground
Parallel.
trajectory on a lot of them. That doesn't make any sense. Or straight down.
Unless the person's looking up. Like, that would
I
change
hear you.
things, I think.
But most
No, or yeah, maybe.
Probably shooting those JFK bullets. The magic bouncing ones.
the magic ones, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the cartoon bullet that just ricochets around the room 30 times. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because
I hear you though with that. Like,
the documentary does talk about that. Let me see if I can pull up, because they show the map. Here we go. Man, I found it. Wow, that was so fast. That was amazing.
that was great, actually. Yeah.
So they show this. This is the map of where everybody got hit. All of these were the people who died, and then these were where people got hit. And so the ones with the circles, I believe, were the ones that were the like perfect trajectory.
The parallel trajectory.
The parallel trajectory.
Yeah.
And again, this map is really hard to read. You got to watch this video in the context of the rest.
I
of the
agree,
video.
honestly.
Because they explain where everything is, and I only watched this once, so I can't, perfectly describe. But like, I know for a fact that there are portions of this map where, from his window, he could not see.
Yeah.
The people that he shot.
There was like 6 bodies found that were behind the stage relative to his window. That there was no way that he's shooting through that.
Can you
or
point to
behind
where
the fence.
Can you point to where he was at? on the map?
Let me
From
see.
this one, I don't know, honestly.
I'm trying to remember.
I had screenshotted a bunch of this stuff, and I'm like, I just got to rewatch this because I'm like, I don't know, like relative to everything. Like,
Yeah, she goes over it in the video. I don't want
Mhm.
to like tread on her copyright stuff.
right.
But like
There was
This one, wait,
she points
pause right
things
here.
out. Yeah, here we go.
Here's the trajectory from. So this is the stage. So we could line this up with the other one, where it says 21 to 26. That's 6 people were found there. That's the ones that the view would have been blocked
Correct.
from the Mandalay, which is in the bottom left here.
Yeah, Mandalay Bay is right here. That's where his shots would have come from.
Yeah. So if you were to overlay that,
What's happening.
it's the same. Yeah, it's like lined up the same way with the other one.
And also, if you watch the video, like everyone is saying, there's multiple shooters.
Oh,
If you listen to the audio, even just from like one source, you can just completely tell that there's different guns being fired.
Absolutely. And
I mean,
the day this happened, I went on YouTube when I got back from the bar. I was working that night, and we heard about it. And there was tons of footage. And this documentary has some of the footage that I was trying to find, and it's been scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah.
And she saved copies of it, like hard copies. And there's one where someone's like in a valet parking area, like under a hotel, and you hear like distant like automatic fire, and then you hear blop 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 like right next to them, and it's like, that is not an echo. That is not the same source. That was one that I had found that night, and man, I wish I had learned how to save things before then, because not that long after that, like within a week or so, YouTube changed its algorithm, and there's like a Newsweek article or something where they're like, YouTube is basically like proud of it. Like, yeah, we changed our algorithm to keep that, that funny business, that like conspiracy theory stuff from coming to the top. And it's like, you just push down all of the like eyewitness reports is what they did. Anyway.
And I will say this news story fell out of the media really fast.
Yep. There's an exponential, like a logarithmic fall off.
Yeah. Like compared to every like school shootings and stuff, or just
school shootings,
January
9/11,
6th.
January 6th. Yeah. Name a thing.
Yeah. I mean, you just nonstop hear about it. There's, spokesmen, people that were involved in it that are now major influencers and stuff like that.
They'll write out a Category 1 hurricane that did no damage because there is nothing else going on or something. Like you would think that normally they would ride the wave for a while and get the ratings, but no, it fell off hard.
Yeah,
like a true exponential.
Like, Jason Aldean calling for gun control was the bookend. That was when they're like, okay, case closed. The country guy said no guns.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
We can go home now.
Yeah. I mean, I have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 7 tabs. Alden, I know you have binders on this kind of stuff.
I have quite a bit. Yeah.
What's the most interesting thing that you like connect with as far as this whole
like a standout thing or something kind of like
Something that people wouldn't necessarily think about or even recognize.
I find it interesting that George Soros shorted MGM $42 million 2 weeks before. I find that interesting because George Soros is a prick and he's involved in every fucking thing. And he's shorting or has put options or whatever, basically betting against MGM.
And what is MGM?
MGM is the company MGM Resorts that owns the Mandalay and yeah.
And it's pretty odd that the next year Blackstone bought MGM and Mandalay Bay.
They own it now. Yeah.
BlackRock?
Yep.
Blackstone. They're akin to BlackRock. They actually owned some of BlackRock back in the day.
BlackRock and Blackstone are very similar beings.
Yeah.
Blackstone's smaller than BlackRock, though. Right?
Are they like under the umbrella?
Blackstone owned a share of BlackRock in the late 90s.
There we go.
Okay, I don't know.
But yeah, they're both massive conglomerate hedge fund investment firms.
Yeah.
I want to know about the Saudi Arabia connection.
Okay, let me pull up.
Ooh, here we go. These are my notes.
Because I just did a 9/11 not too long ago episode, and so
Nice.
with Adam
All right.
Fitzgerald.
I should watch that one, honestly.
So yeah, this is the post that I pulled up for that. MBS is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. This is I am John Cullen on Twitter. MBS is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. The Las Vegas shooting was an assassination attempt on his life. Stephen Paddock didn't shoot anyone. He was the first to die. And he did a whole video on it, which we're not going to play here because it's 33 minutes long. So you can go watch that on your own. But yeah, go to I_am_John Cullen to check out that full video. So, all right, Stephen, take it away.
So the Saudi connection, it's odd enough that the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay, the Four Seasons as it's known, is owned by Bill Gates and Prince bin Talal. I forget his first name, Talawi or something like that.
Okay.
So anyways, Prince bin Talal and Mohammed bin Salman, which I also got to say, that's the only time it's okay to pronounce the L in Salman. They don't like each other. They did not get along. So MBS was named the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia like 3 months before the shooting. He and the prince had beef. And Mohammed bin Salman actually had some helicopters and planes and Saudi military doing a joint training operation in Las Vegas that week.
Yep.
They
had an
just
active shooter
those
drills that week.
You can also, in this documentary, gosh, this documentary does a fantastic job. We're going to keep referencing it because it does so well. But it shows air traffic control screens during that time, and it shows two helicopters flying directly above Mandalay Bay and turning off their comms. Three. You're right, three.
It's three.
Turning off their transponders, turning off their comms, and just disappearing.
Their call sign disappears, but people are still seeing them in the air. Then they blip back on. And, dude, it's like the real-life version of the Dark Knight school bus thing, where they follow the train of school buses out and in disguise, where they hitch a ride with all the other helicopters going north.
Yeah.
They go bloop, and their call sign just pops back up on radar as they go north with all the other choppers.
And you got all the cell phone video on the ground that showed up on social media that day and the weeks after.
Yeah.
That showed muzzle flashes in the air.
Yep.
Beside the hotel.
There's a really good angle.
And it's odd that they fly in, turn it off, and then after the shooting, they turn it back on and fly out. I don't even know how that even makes sense for trying to be undercover, because it's like, obviously you were there. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But
that's
I agree.
my
Why would it
thing
not
with
be
this.
off the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, what are you even doing? Like,
That's my whole thing with this, and how we can. This level is almost just like seeing what they can get away with, and how stupid people can be, and like I just don't get it. The one was a call sign for, and she talks about this on this, a plane, but then it makes a maneuver that only a helicopter can do. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
There's at 58:23 on the video there, if you wanted to call it up, there's a body cam of a cop on the ground that gets a really clear view of a helicopter. There's a lot of shots of helicopters in the sky, but this one is like not just, it's unmistakable that it's a helicopter in the sky. at a time when there was on radar nothing there. By the way, Metro's helicopter couldn't get there until after he's dead or whatever, or after mainstream says he's dead. And then they hang out for like 2 minutes, and then
There it
they
is.
basically hover over the Tropicana. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let's go back a little bit. Here we go.
It's the light up there, right?
It'll be on the left. He'll like turn.
After the 10th volley, you'll notice one of the helicopters that's not supposed to be there heading east over the venue.
Keep your head down, run that way.
See right there,
yeah.
yeah. That is
It's
unmistakably
also
a
at this
chopper.
time that a south-facing
Yeah.
If you've ever seen one, that's what it looks like. That's the angle that it takes when it flies like forward and everything. Like there's just no mistaking it. There's 30 different views of it, in the distance, but that's like unmistakable.
Yeah. Yeah. Steven, let's go
At a
back
time when it's not on radar, like.
Right. I mean, that's the weirdest thing. And I don't even know, like, I wish we had like a military guy here to talk about something like that. Because I know nothing about like military operations or like what they do when they're doing training exercises, or if there could possibly be a legit explanation for that kind of behavior. But it seems very suspicious.
It's super suspect. There's a lot that goes on. Have you seen the whole thing when they talk about the Maverick like landing pad area, and then also the Sundance one, and then the 911 calls out of Sundance where there was like a hostage situation, and the cops and the media, they declined that all of this happened. There was hundreds of 911 calls around the city for other things this day, and they're like, no.
The Luxor.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was just going ham all at once.
Yeah. And then so you've got
were all those
paramedics.
calls legitimate, or were they just trying to distract from what was
I
going
think
on?
some of them were trying to distract. The ones that were like really like unemotional and deadpan, and they'd call in and be like, "Hey, there's 20 dead people at whatever at Bruxy's or something." Like I think some of them were trying to spread Metro thin. Actually, that's a fair point. But the ones that
there was a shooting inside Mandalay Bay. There was a shooting at the Tropicana.
on the
Planet,
fourth floor,
Planet Hollywood. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Planet Hollywood as well.
Bellagio, Tropicana.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ones. Yeah. I think there was, and this is shootings like in or at the front doors of these places. Yeah. And then some it's on body cams where cops will acknowledge and say shots fired at, one of these places, like, at Bellagio or whatever. One was a 911 call from paramedics. So not just panicked civilians or whatever saying that there was shots at, I think, Tropicana.
There's also a clip of like them telling all the cops to turn their body cams off.
Multiple times. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like turn your body cam off. Everyone, make sure your body cams are off. It's like,
Yep. Yeah.
That in and of itself is enough to be like, if we had no other evidence,
That's
just
deeply
that
suspicious.
would be
Yeah.
enough
Right.
to be
That
suspicious.
should be enough to be incriminating. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
Because that is the one thing that a cop should literally never do.
That's what it's there for.
That's
Unless you're
literally what
a
it's there
journalist
for.
or something,
No, you signed up for it. Screw that. Keep your body cam on.
There we go.
Well, you take a leak. There was,
Talking about the police, though, it's also interesting to note the captain of Las Vegas police at the time was the chief of police in Lahaina, Hawaii.
Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Really?
he didn't just disappear. He went to another chaotic scene in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
They tend to get around, these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some repeat names in this one.
It's weird, man. That in and of itself is all. I mean, just half this stuff is weird, and like you can stack up a whole bunch of suspicious things with a whole bunch of events that had no real alternative motive or anything like that. But man, the sheer number of things involved with this one really makes you like actually sit back and think about it. Nikki, my wife, knew a few people that were at the concert.
Oh,
And
really?
I tried to get them to either come on the show or talk to me, but they were traumatized to the extreme. And
I understand.
have no interest in talking about it. So
I understand.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to talk about it. I was not there, and I can kind of
Right.
like armchair expert, like theorize it with a beer in my hand. And I want to be sensitive to the people that truly were there.
Oh, for sure. Like, and one of this person's questions was like, is this like a conspiracy theory kind of thing? And after that, they told me that they didn't want to come on, and so
That's fair.
that
I
may have
understand.
also been the reason. Which
We're not theorizing. We're just analyzing. That's all.
we're
doing.
just
analyzing. That's
Like,
all we're doing.
Yeah, Alden loves analyzing things.
Yeah, you know it. No, I wish that there weren't such a stigma around like things are branded as conspiracy theory or whatever. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it, and there's some fishy shit. But
Well, it doesn't help that there's videos about crisis actors and stuff like that. They'll
Yeah.
talk about the shorting the stock market, and then they'll talk about crisis actors and stuff like that. I didn't even watch the Stu Peters stuff, but I'm sure that's all garbage as well. So I mean, they're scrubbing everything, but then they're making sure that if you do really, really look into it, that you're getting fed pure garbage. So
I think there's certain instances where like the crisis actor thing comes up for me. This wasn't one of those for me. This didn't seem like, I'm not saying that it's not possible that there was one or whatever, but it just doesn't strike me as like necessary with that much pandemonium going on to really even need crisis actors when there are shots everywhere, thousands of bullet casings everywhere. Like
they were saying no one died.
Oh, right. No, that's
just like
crazy. That's
there were people on the ground saying no one was dying, that people are just laying there, but like they don't know what's going on. Like
no, that's too far, man. That
Right.
gets to a point where then I understand when people get pissed off at people that say things like that, because that's I'm saying that's outlandish. That's and I would be careful about just throwing things like that out there. But there's also, I've found nothing to support that that no one's died. I've looked into this extensively, and that is not the case at this point.
Oh, plenty of people have died, even afterward. Like that's the real creepy.
Yeah,
part. Like,
even
there's
after
Joan Rivers saying Michelle Obama's a man, and then dying on the operating table for her 47th plastic surgery. That's weird. But then there's like a dozen plus Las Vegas survivors saying, "Hey, the story doesn't match up. Something's wrong," and then all of a sudden, car accident.
Trying to actively organize like a survivor group to get to the bottom of it, and then like 8 days after Vegas dies, some in their sleep, some a car accident, one guy got shot in a abandoned lot or something like that. His dead body was just found or whatever. That's
Yep. And this post, another police officer killed that just happened to be at the Las Vegas shooting. Where 3 officers that were at the Vegas shooting were later killed. What are the odds?
What are the odds, honestly? Like between the cops
after the shooting,
No, cops and survivors, but both sides, like cops that might not be like quote unquote in on it, and survivors that are just trying to piece it together. Go ahead, Steven.
Well, because you got like the cops that breached the room, their body cam footage that got released, they're saying there's no broken window.
Yeah, they're yelling at the
broken window.
Not broken,
and then,
broken. Yeah,
and then like an hour later, they find the manager of the hotel security hiding in another room. So then they detain him because they're like, "What's going on? Why? You're the head of security. Why are you hiding in this room?"
Is this the Jesus guy?
No,
that got shot, or
Jesus Campos. So he got shot 6 minutes prior.
Yeah.
Then he led the police to the 29th floor, the wrong floor. Because Paddock was on the 32nd, or at least, if you're to believe the official story, that's where the shooting came from.
Paddock's body ended up on the 32nd. We'll say, yeah.
Right. But then Campos leaves the country.
Where his body was, where his body was, the window wasn't broken?
Not originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
When they went in, there was like supposedly 8 people that went in. Then we were only given the names of like 6. There was 2 that were like excluded from the report. And of those 6, there was 1 or 2 people with body cams that were actually on, and we only got those views. So there's like 5 people that don't have body cams that are there. And they go in the room and they yell, "We've got a curtain open, window not broken, not broken." They keep repeating it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, here's some shots from that.
That's a shot.
Those are shots
that happened on Metro 5's helicopter cam that night.
Those are shots after
helped load all the gun cases at their own
Paddock was killed.
elevator. But they wanted us to know that he was dead and the case shut and closed by purposefully leaking out an immediate photo of a fresh blood stain on top.
There's the blood stain thing, which is just another detail, maybe, but
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's always an interesting one. You just don't know what it actually looks like. You know, you're not there. So like, it's the conglomeration of all these things that.
So knowing that, was there a shooter from the building?
I honestly
Top of a
really
drywall?
wonder.
Huh?
Well, there's videos that got
How
shown
did they get
later
underneath?
showing muzzle flashes from two windows that were
Supposedly used
not the
as
room
Yeah.
Paddock was in.
Yeah, like one above and one
No,
below.
so far behind his head.
Oh,
It
there's
was like
the
it was like
There's
either
the
side
bullet-
of it.
Okay.
there's the bullet wound in his chest.
There's no
Yeah,
yeah.
you saw the red spot on his chest there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the coroner clocks his time of death at noon the next day.
Yeah, noon.
Yeah.
That might just be standard procedure for like if they don't know the actual time, they just assign it to
Well,
noon.
and they had to sue
Later
to
on,
get
they
that
s-
report.
Yeah, and they said they had it within a 3-minute time span in one of the reports of
Yeah.
when he actually died.
Well,
Yeah.
they had to sue to get the coroner's report, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a call from the guy that I think he was on the 21st floor, but his room was directly below the window that got
And
shot
he
out or
reported the
whatever.
explosion and glass
Yep.
falling. Yeah,
Yes, but it's like 11:30 at night or
it
something.
was an hour after,
Yeah,
an hour and
And
15
he-
minutes after.
after he was like dead or whatever, and he heard an explosion and heard the sound of glass tinkling down his window, and he called about it. So there's essentially that. There's also a report that there was one window out at one point in the night, and then by morning, two windows out. And any footage of that has been just, there's only footage now existing of two windows. So it's, at this point, it's hearsay, but it's anecdotally, it's out there that multiple people are saying that the initial footage of the window in the evening was just one out, and then by morning there's a second one.
Yeah, and his laptop had no hard drive in it when they recovered it.
Oh, but I think it was also like CNN that was like, Paddock removed it, and I'm like, what? Where'd he put it then? If
I
he's in the
always walk
room-
around with a computer with no hard drive because they're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
useful.
I always just bring that for frisbee practice, like every time I go gambling.
And there was a single shot in the hotel room before any of this started, too.
Yep. Yeah, there was, I think, two different like single shots at like different points in the day, and both were called in about. And one was before the shooting happened, and one was like after the shooting happened, but before the window was blown out or something like that or whatever. At least I think, but at least one what happened. What time was the one that you're talking about, Sam?
I just remember it being before the shooting.
It was before. I think it was like
So my guess
4:30
was-
p.m. or something like that. Or
My guess was those women he was with just offed him, and then like
they were like handlers or something, or
yeah, and he
Yeah.
was just their patsies. They probably drugged him like crazy and stuff, and
probably. That's why they probably won't release his autopsy report. He's probably got full of LSD or some shit. I don't know.
right.
Yeah.
There you go. Or
There
what's
was-
that? What's that zombie drug? Scopolamine.
The
How long
one
does that
that's
stay in
like,
your system?
Yes.
yeah, exactly. See, it's
Yeah.
always fishy when they won't release the autopsy report. There was a report, someone thought they saw him in the gambling level with like 2 or 3 like Hispanic women. And then there's, officially he's checked in with like 3 other women, but that wasn't included in any public report. And then there's the woman that was interviewed when the shots were happened, or after the shots happened, like on the scene, and she was saying there was a Hispanic woman in this case again, that pushed her way to the front of the stage and told people at the front of the stage, "You're gonna die tonight." This was 45 minutes before the shooting started. And so there's like all these like weird little, like, I can't quite prove it with any one of these things, but there's so much fishy shit that like just doesn't add up to me, or does in the way that we're, not supposed to know, but.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's what they always say with like conspiracies is, well, how would they have everyone in on it? Like someone would talk. And it's like, well, they do.
Well,
Yeah.
but they
And
made
that's
the cops
that's
sign NDAs,
And yeah, that too. And like,
and
that's
then
the
they
perfect-
die. Sorry,
it's
go
like-
ahead.
Anytime someone talks and comes forward, it's like that you just brush them off as conspiracy or you don't listen to them. It's like,
And the
yeah,
ones
there
that-
always is someone that talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, let's not forget how many people died after the fact already with just this one
Do
thing.
we know a number, Stephen, Alden? Do either of y'all have a number of how many people who were involved in the incident?
It
died
keeps
tonight?
growing. That cop one that you just showed me was from 2023.
Yeah, it was this.
So
It was
who knows? I
well
don't
over
know.
a dozen. I quit. I had to like quit following it when it got up to like, I think it was 15
Oh,
I think it
really?
was like 8 years ago when I was doing this originally of just the survivors or something.
Couldn't have been 8 years. It happened in 2017.
No. 8 people years ago.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
8 comma years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, once it got to double digits, I just got sick. I was like, oh my God, I can't keep following this.
So then
Speaking of prior, go ahead.
Well, then here's the question. I'm trying to play devil's advocate as much as possible.
No, go ahead. Yeah, we don't have
maybe we don't get banned off YouTube. You know.
All right. Yeah.
There were 22,000 people at the concert. The idea of, let's just say it's 15 now that have died who were talking about it or just somehow involved in it.
Okay, so the statistical likelihood of that.
The statistical likelihood of 15 to 20 people dying in 6 years is pretty
5 of them were like within a 2-week window.
Yeah, I was going to say
more suspicious.
There was double digits within 6 months, and it was anomalous deaths. It wasn't like,
No, a few of them were within 8 days or something. Like
it wasn't like they died snowboarding or something crazy like that. It was like they were doing social media posts about you're not being told the truth. We're going to find out the truth. We're going to get the truth out there, and then car accident.
So the one, what's his name? Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, Alden, pull it up, buddy.
The one that died that was shot in like an empty lot. He posted on Twitter the day after. So he survived, and he was saying that he was being chased down by 2 men with guns and that he was lucky to be alive. Okay. Then he dies in a parking lot. Then post-mortem, Twitter bans his account so that no one can see his post from the event, which is in real bad taste when this guy just died.
Right. Real bad taste is an understatement.
Contreras. Yeah, seriously.
Well, I just looked it up too for just reference. It's 13 deaths per 100,000 officers is the average.
Okay, that's just officers.
Yeah, that's just officers. So it's like
I feel like they would have a higher mortality rate than everyday civilians.
But it's the timing of that kind of stuff that really matters. So like, the Oklahoma City bombing, like there was 1 or 2 cops that were like, they planted fertilizer in the building, and then they don't show up to work the next day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's another suspicious one too.
Yeah. I don't know as much.
We got to stop broadcasting this on YouTube. Oh man.
I know more about the people that went missing after like talking about Building 7 and 9/11 and things like that, but we'll
getting
save
there
that
in December. Okay.
Yeah, we'll save
That's going to be our big in-person episode. That's going to be like 8 hours long. It's going to be fantastic. So we'll get to that. Let's watch a video. I don't remember which one this is. I watched so much stuff today. So let's just watch it and see what it's about.
In real time, we'll figure it out.
Concern is growing this morning over an outbreak of a new SARS-like virus in China. At least 6 people have died from the Wuhan coronavirus. The Wuhan coronavirus. The 34-year-old ophthalmologist. Wuhan.
Well, isn't just a coronavirus.
Told nearly.
All right. That is not what I thought it was.
I was going to say, does this
now we're definitely banned.
Yeah. Okay.
I can make a couple of links to COVID with this if you want, but
do it.
No, not yet. Let's save that.
Okay.
Let's save it for a little bit later in the show.
Okay.
So we're talking about Jesus Campos or Jesus Campos, the security guard that was shot supposedly by Paddock 6 minutes before the mass shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So he checks into the hospital, then he leaves the country.
Yeah, for 5 days in Mexico.
Totally silent. And then he comes back, and his first interview is not with the FBI. It's not with the local police.
First and only interview.
It's with Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
And guess who owns her show? MGM.
Yep. And she's got a bunch of slot machines or something down at MGM that make her a bunch of money. Just saying.
Grumpy's not wrong.
10 more years? Yeah, honestly, you're probably right.
Yeah.
That's the third rail of YouTube now.
Are they still banning COVID stuff on YouTube?
Probably, man. Yeah.
It depends on which side of it you're talking about. So if you're talking about vaccines, then yeah. But
99% effective.
We just need to call it something like popcorn or something else. So
there we go.
Just watch how much popcorn you eat.
All right. This is John Cullen. Yet again, I_am_John Cullen. Here we go. Ooh, loud.
And then helicopters started coming around the hotel, and they shone their lights right on, like right where I was sitting, right on me, and they blinded me with their beams.
It was so unbelievably certain that it was coming from the helicopter because it was so close. And I remember thinking, why is it that close? Oh my God, I think the shooting is coming from the helicopter. Just in that moment was so certain, just not a doubt in my mind that there was shooting coming from the helicopter.
So the net of it is there's a whole bunch of Saudi trainers in Mesa, Arizona at the Boeing Helicopter Company sitting on the tarmac. And we've been training their pilots in the United States for years.
So in your opinion, the shooters were Saudis. Obviously, the people in the Boeing site know exactly what the hell happened because they couldn't have been. You think it happened and then the Saudis came back and said, now you're going to shut your mouths?
No, I think what happened is you've got a bunch of Saudi pilots, right? You've got Saudi pilots that are training at Boeing and McDonnell Douglas Aircraft, which is across the street. McDonnell Douglas Helicopter was across the street. It since has been acquired by Boeing. And they're training in AH-6Is, they're training in Blackhawks, and they're training in Apaches.
There was another interview where a guy said that he would hear shots around him. They were over back by like the back gate or something. And then he saw a black helicopter with black curtains and all that or whatever go around back behind the Mandalay. And then when it circled back, the shots would start again. And there was that pattern. And he was talking about the circular motion of this and like when the shots would start and then stop and start and stop or whatever. I didn't know if that was going to be in there or not, but.
And I remember listening to one show that had, he was, I don't know if he was a Navy SEAL, but one of our military celebrities, Craig Sawman Sawyer. He was, I think he was involved in the Bin Laden raid or something like that. But he was real instrumental in rounding up pedos and stuff. He was one of those that supposedly when Trump got in there, brought this little task force in and said, go get them. But anyway, he was doing a tour of shows and he was like, listen, they call me Sawman. He's like, that's an MH240. I know what they're shooting.
Yeah. People that know. This is a country concert, man. Like people know what guns sound like and what helicopters look like. And like,
yeah. Seriously.
I'm sort of joking, but like sort of not. Like these people.
No, but he was saying that was, a lot of the, from the video, from the police cams, from, the crowdsourced, cell phone footage going on social media. He was like, that is a belt-fed, fully automatic weapon.
Yeah. He's
like, that is nothing a civilian can just go by.
It's not a bump fire.
Even just listening to it, the fire rate is crazy fast.
Yeah. I thought that I was on like 1.5 or 2x speed when I was listening to it a couple of times. I'm like, oh no, that's just the flat rate speed. It's like, like it's a full on like howitzer speed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not bump fire, man. And it's too consistent because bump fire jams up and it's so stupid. Honestly, bump fire is dumb. But
and I said the wrong combination of letters and numbers. It's M249. Sorry.
I don't know.
Not forgiven. You gotta get it.
Yeah.
You're fired.
You're fired. There we go. Fed.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Did you get to this point? And she talks about this in her documentary as well, that the cops guarded the parking lot and the like festival grounds for months. And then in December, it was repaved, the whole thing. So you can't go through and look at bullet trajectory marks and everything.
That gets us banned right there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing that in 9/11 when they were like, get that steel out of here, send it to China in like a week or whatever. Like it's the same thing. You're covering up crime scene.
Or in Waco when they just lost the door and got rid of it and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's dispose of this evidence, please. Like,
well, and it's funny you mentioned that because a judge actually ordered the Mandalay Bay to quit destroying evidence.
Yeah. Well,
why did they have to do that?
Yeah.
Because that was one of those. I mean, like
Dan
Bongino was flipping out about that. He was going on all the shows, all over TV, and he was like, "Hey, man, something ain't right here."
Yeah, they got one
He's like,
good judge.
My time in the Secret Service tells me they're in on it.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
The judge that worked for MGM that was trying to, because MGM sued the victims to basically establish a case where they would owe less money, basically, right? They tried to set the legal precedent, and they sued the victims ahead of time, basically, because they knew that they were going to have to reach a settlement with them at some point. The judge, rather, on the side of MGM was, what's her name, Tagliati or whatever, who was, hold on, let me make sure I get this right. Yeah, Jennifer Tagliati, okay, is the judge in the MGM settlement case, is the daughter of the vice president of security and surveillance of MGM Resorts, George Tagliati. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is anymore. Like,
repeat that one more time. Repeat her relationship.
The judge, Jennifer Tagliati.
That did what? Presided over what?
Presided over the MGM lawsuit where they were suing the victims of the shooting, okay, to establish basically a precedent to pay out less to them in settlements, was the daughter of the vice president of security and surveillance of MGM Resorts at the time. And I'll repeat, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of conflict of interest with this. A lot of bullshit. A lot of familiar names. Those aren't familiar to me, but like Michael Chertoff comes up in this again, who I don't know if anyone remembers his name, but
go into it. This is what we're here for. Go into Chertoff. Yeah.
So Chertoff, the Chertoff group, and Michael Chertoff himself. This is a cluster. I don't even know where to start, but okay. Do you know about the whole anonymous 4chan user thing too, that like warned about this and warned about the Chertoff group and said that he's like, there's going to be a false flag attack in Vegas. They've got Vegas on their minds, and he was about 3 weeks early, but he basically predicted this. And he said that the Chertoff group was involved, OSI and or whatever, and the Chertoff group. Okay. Michael Chertoff is George W. Bush's former Secretary of Homeland Security and a co-author of the Patriot Act, okay? One of my least favorite people. I have a long list of least favorite people, but he's on there, okay? Dick Cheney is on there. He's on there. These are some of the worst people. George Soros is on there. Bill Gates is on there. And not Dick Cheney, but all of those other people are involved in
Dick
this
Cheney
as well.
is a Sith Lord. If you can live with your heart outside of your body.
If you can still call it alive, he's still alive. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, yeah, Chertoff is involved in this where his group benefits. So his group, one of the problems, one of the conflict of interest, both here and in 9/11, is that these types of things raise fear and they get people feeling that their security is not enough. His company just so happens to sell body scanners and metal detectors and all kinds of shit like that or whatever. So obviously, when the TSA kind of whole thing stepped in and they had to do all of that with the airports, he made billions of dollars or whatever. And in this, he stood 4 days after the shooting, and casinos were already putting in metal detectors and body scanners and things. Like,
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was one of the stories I had bookmarked, and I go to the page and it's taken down.
Good. Well, it's in here somewhere. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we got to
Let's get this show banned.
I'm just trying to just lightning round ban us, man. Yeah.
All right, so I've got more of the documentary to watch. Here we go. This is the body cam section.
Anyway, we are limited in knowing what actually happened from here on out, as officers were constantly told throughout the night to turn their body cameras off for reasons I'd like to know.
Yeah, my camera's on. My camera's on too. Yeah, turn them off. I'll turn them off. Yeah, my camera's on too.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Well, why the hell do they have an off switch?
SWAT took down the shooter.
Right.
With CNN even going as far as to claim that Paddock tried to fight his way through officers and even shot one of them before they were forced to kill him because journalism.
Perhaps he had taken his own life at the very moment the SWAT team was making entry into his room on the 32nd floor. Now they've clarified that point. They say that as the SWAT officers actually broke it, the gunman charged them, made it through the door, struggled with the officers, and was able to get off at least one shot, wounding one SWAT officer in the leg.
And they wonder why we call them fake news.
He was
apparently
suicided.
Everyone except the canine
Oh,
officer
here's the
leaves their
breach.
body cameras off, and the LVPD had to be sued to even release that in full. Let's see why.
Is this where the smoke detector goes off? Yeah.
Wait, now the fire alarm goes off, but not when 1,000 rounds were getting shot off in the room? Weird. But okay, let's see if there's anything else weird going on.
Yeah.
Right where that curtain is, right by the door.
Insane.
The guy
that
Corey that
entire
he just
team
said.
right there is going, what's going on right now?
Well, just to steel man this, those bump stocks can go through windows without shattering them. with no scope, perfect headshots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000 rounds. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The Corey guy that he named was like, Corey, it's not broken or whatever. Like, that guy wasn't even listed as one of the members of the team that breached. So his name is named. There's two people that are named there that are known to be there, that they're not officially listed by the LVPD or whatever to have been there.
Was he suicided?
I have no idea. I've not followed up on that, but I don't
do
think
we know
so
their last
specifically.
names, Alden?
I do somewhere. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Can't be that many Corys in the Las Vegas PD.
Yeah.
Totally. No, definitely not. Yeah, and I want to shout out this filmmaker.
Corey Mickelson and Brett
There we go.
Brosnahan are the two that are there
Okay.
but not there, you know.
You keep chatting. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, those are the two that are there. They named the other ones that are there, and it's a weird thing that they keep saying the SWAT team, and I think there was only one SWAT officer, not a SWAT team. There was one lone SWAT officer, and there was two canine guys without their dogs. It was kind of a weird ragtag group or whatever. Do you know about the whole?
SWAT's kind of like it's a weird designation too, because it's you've got your SWAT team, and then they'll have HRT, hostage rescue team. They have all these various teams that that's one of those ways that everybody's like, oh, well, it was a SWAT guy, and like that's how they poo-poo it, because it was just like, well, no, he was on HRT, and it's like it's the same thing. You guys.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
just in the.
I just feel like there's more and more reasons to not like country music too.
I listen to a lot of stuff, but I honestly can't really get into country. Just as a side note, but maybe like old school like country.
It's okay occasionally.
I can do like old school stuff.
Yeah.
I can't do the new stuff. I don't know what it is.
I can't do the new stuff either.
New pop country is my hell.
And in the wake of this, so you had Jason Aldean doing his obviously compulsory video of talking about gun control, but then Tim McGraw has always been on a gun control kick.
Really?
He says it in most of his concerts.
It is kind of interesting they didn't get shot too. Like, you think they'd be an easy target,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So Corey Mickelson, SWAT came up with nothing. And same with Corey Mickelson, Las Vegas Police Department came with nothing.
Interesting.
I'm searching on Brave. I don't know if that means anything. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to do a lot more research, and it would take a lot longer than just this. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and then earlier when I said it was Paddock that was in the Four Seasons, it was actually the 37th floor is the Four Seasons. I'm looking at my notes now. The 37th floor is the Four Seasons. That's the part that was owned by Bill Gates and the Saudi prince.
I know
that
he
actually had one of the windows broken. So yeah, I mean, it was above and below, but it was also like on either side of Paddock's room.
Yeah,
it was like a few floors above and a few floors below where the muzzle flashes were coming from.
Okay, yeah. I know Bill Gates is partial owner. I don't know what floor, what room, or how they divide up the ownership with that kind of thing.
I mean, but I'm really focused on Prince bin Talal.
My mic went out for a second, but Jake, did you hear when I said it's Mickelson, Mikkelson?
Mikk.
If it helps there.
Let's find out. Mikkelson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I forget the stats too of exactly how thick and heavy these windows are. I mean, this isn't
They're
something where you can
hurricane grade.
Yeah, so it's not something where you can just like oh, I want to feel the wind tonight, and just
you would need a special hammer, which apparently was said before there's any reports about it.
And apparently that Brian Hodge guy, that Australian guy, was talking about before that was released to the public, before the hammer whole thing, and before the photos of the crime scene with the hammer, just the hammer conveniently just like laying there in the glass or whatever. The glass that was, I don't feel like there in the body cam video, or I heard people crunching all over it. You know what I mean? And like they said, the window's not broken. I didn't hear glass. Anyway, then it appears there later. But the Brian Hodge guy was talking about that and talking about multiple things that like was not released to the public yet or whatever. And then he goes back to Australia and then basically talks up a big America should get rid of guns game or whatever.
Side of the festival grounds, which is behind a long privacy wall. They were
not sure how to blow in, but intentionally in those early interviews mentioned very specific details about the shooting that weren't known to the public at the time. He knew a special hammer was used to break the hurricane-proof window in the room.
So there wasn't
hammer.
No
That's a 2-pound sledge.
He actually came. Yeah. He checked in the hotel on Thursday.
I was going to say the same.
Came with a specific hammer that's designed to break that glass.
It can't be that specific. I've got one.
I have one literally in my garage.
Yes, it can't be that specific.
And then actually shoot out through the glass that way. So cracked a massive big hole in the window pane.
And much like the FBI and LVPD would falsely push, he also claimed Paddock checked in a Mandalay Bay on Thursday the 28th, which is interesting because, number one, he supposedly just checked in himself the night before, so it's not like he could have ran into Paddock those days earlier by accident. And two, the real check-in date was actually on the 25th, which for some reason, Lombardo decided to lie to the public about during a press conference the next day, even though dispatch logs showed he 100% already knew the real check-in date was the 25th, and that there were 3 other women other than the girlfriend registered to his room. Hodge also assumed the security guard that walked down the hall was shot and killed, which, given the amount of bullets that came through the door, was shocking he wasn't. Hodge also manipulated the GPS on his phone that day to hide his whereabouts both before and after the shooting. He lied about hiding in the bushes as officers clearing the area never saw anyone in them. And he also posted what many have dubbed a trophy photo of him at the crime scene. Listen to this interview he gives to the Australian press less than 24 hours after the incident, where he's so enveloped in pushing the narrative that things, aka gun rights, need to change in America, that he prematurely reveals knowing almost exactly how many guns were in the room, even though news stations at the time were reporting less.
Time to reflect on it, but one thing that's really kind of come out of this, I think it needs to change. I think they really need to think about it, and I realize that it's not safe. The security here is not great. I've always loved that Vegas is very free. You come here, people have a good time. But last night it really kind of hit me that I was like, I don't think that's the right way going forward. I don't think...
free is not the right way.
Walk in with 20 machine guns and not get noticed and have scopes in your room set up for 3 days.
There were 24 guns found between the 2 rooms, 22 semi-automatic rifles, if you minus the bolt action on them.
Yeah. So we all know what happened in Australia with their whole banning of guns and all that crap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we saw.
I will say that to any immigrant that comes here, anyone that wants to visit here from another country, if our lackadaisical gun laws scare you, you know where the plane is because you used it to get here.
Yeah. It's interesting too that Australia was one of the more fiercely policed during the whole popcorn lockdown, and then after in the wake of
full on red butter. I mean, it was
It was funny. I remember even like Dave Smith talking about them, like how they had such strict gun control, and they're like, he's like, normally that leads to like severe totalitarianism. Like somehow they're not there yet, but they probably will be. And it's just weird. A little bit while later, it's like, holy crap, they're went full North Korea and stuff. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah,
it's a trend, man.
Bizarre. Yeah, it is. It's a weird thing.
The historical trend of like disarmament and then totalitarianism is like in lockstep, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, let's keep it on track here. Totalitarianism, that's a different topic.
Well, in the indirect sense, I think that this is a puzzle piece in that, but we are in the weeds of this today. But
I
I will say it's related in the sense that
just to kind of not necessarily connect the dots, but just lay them out there. We have a known royal Saudi power struggle betwixt a guy who has his army in that town and his cousin who owns half the building. So you have that going on, and now you have the theory, and this is the theory. This is I don't know how to prove this at all, that Paddock was a gun runner. The guy's not a Mensa level genius, from what I understand. I mean, he was a nice guy, but no one was like, "Oh yeah, he was a whiz." He was an absolute Rain Man. He could card count, hands down. No one said that about the guy. So
the media painted him as like making a good living off of online poker like they went out of their way to do this for some reason, which was kind of interesting.
I've got friends that pay their rent with DraftKings. Like they got laid off years ago. They took their last $1,000 and put it in DraftKings, and they make a decent living.
Maybe I should start doing that.
It's really hard to do.
Baseball, all of it.
He was a millionaire, but he was $28,000 in debt, so it's like pennies. Like I know a guy who makes $300,000, and he's probably that much in debt.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like that's nothing.
And that's a normal thing for wealthy people.
Way less than that. She's millions in debt.
Oh goodness.
But
here's another.
So you get that the thought that maybe he was a gun runner for Mohammed bin Salman. Now,
or a U.S. intelligence MK Ultra puppet. We don't know.
There you go. But we do know that there are American civilians that have been involved in gun running over in the Middle East. I think one of the most famous in our time was Tosh Plumlee. He was a guy. He did the big tours. He was all over Fox News and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, we ran guns to Benghazi." It's like that's what we did. I'd go meet the guys down in Mexico. We'd load up. We'd fly it over there.
No big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And he gave dates, times, flight logs. It's like I had a flat rate. There was a flat rate the CIA paid me as a civilian contractor. And as long as they paid me that rate, I didn't care who I was working for. I'd fly a plane. I'd drop off a package, and I'd leave. Now I knew
I'd bring
when I got
opium
to the
back.
receiving end, these guys mean they're up to no good. I don't know what I just gave to them. None of my business.
Yeah,
and he didn't start blowing the whistle until Benghazi happened, and he was like, "Oh, I was probably part of that."
So you've got the Saudi side of it is one thing, and then you've got the kind of the weird interlocking with Bill Gates in the ownership of the building, which is one thing. Bill Gates, fantastically well known for his position on a lot of things, including like COVID type stuff or whatever. Have we talked yet about the governor, Ciesieslki or whatever?
No.
Okay, so I think he used to be like the commissioner or something, but now he's the governor. And he put Jim Murren or whatever his name is in charge of the Las Vegas or the Nevada Coronavirus Task Force or whatever. So he basically uses kind of like the Mayor Giuliani thing with like 9/11. He like uses this whole thing to become governor. Then he puts in power Jim Murren in charge of the task force or whatever. And Jim Murren was the CEO of the MGM fucking resorts. So it's a fucking circle jerk. The whole thing is a circle jerk. Everyone just is jerking off the person on their right. It's insane. So
I'm left-handed. That's bad news.
That's bad news for the guy on your left. That's fine. But Jim Murren sold off 80% of his MGM shares like 2 to 3 weeks before the shooting. Are you kidding me with this shit? Like, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
George Soros shorts him. The guy that gets put on the coronavirus task force for the state, sells off his whole wad right beforehand, and then Ciesieslki, that becomes governor during this or whatever, appoints him. I'm telling you, man, it's double fisting dicks right now. Like, it's just insane.
Well, and that's what Barry Goldwater warned us about, the interlocking corporate directorships.
Yeah.
That was the whole MO of how they take over.
Yeah, and then swinging door between the private and public sector, too.
Yep.
It's
Revolving
insane.
door.
Swinging door, revolving door.
Closet door.
Yeah.
For anybody out there who didn't know that this isn't a family-friendly show, I think you're well aware now. Thank you, Alden.
When I get mad, I get, I don't know, vulgar? I don't know.
That's true.
Thing. Yeah.
That's true. Okay. We are an hour and 10 minutes into this show. I definitely still want to do trivia, and I want to finish out on some lesser stories. So let's either wrap this up or hit on some new things that we haven't discussed quite yet.
Okay.
That are big and relevant if we have them.
How does it connect to COVID?
I mean, in the general sense of just putting people in charge, at least, that are
that's true.
Clearly involved and clearly dirty, and it I would say that this is something that gives it kind of taints the image of the mainstream COVID safety push or whatever. Like when you have people like this that are put into positions of power to basically say a certain thing, that are clearly involved in a circle jerk with this, and are just buddy mob level politics, put into power by playing ball, then if you didn't already question the mainstream narrative on the approach to COVID, I would truly implore people to look into how many people that were like used to be CEO of Pfizer or on the board of Pfizer or something like that, that then are trying to implement policy, or that like involved in something like this and then like are trying to set the laws for the state that are like truly wackadoo and I would argue unconstitutional, and like forcing people to either stay in their homes or telling people how to operate their businesses and things like that. And in the broader sense, I would just say that there's the whole crony thing with it, and I truly implore people to look into it and to question, if you aren't already, I mean, if you're on our side already with this, like, I don't need to tell you, but for anyone listening that, if there was anyone that just stumbled onto our channel that was like more buying into like the mainstream COVID story, it truly has Swiss cheese level holes all through it in terms of who's in power and who's telling you what and what they get out of it. And a lot of it is follow the money.
This was regardless of what theory you side with, whether it's the official narrative, which to me is a conspiracy theory, or any of the other prevailing thoughts out there. This is a prime example of the Hegelian dialectic on turbo speed. Problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem to foment a reaction, and then they come in with the solution, which was the tyranny that they wanted up front that you resisted.
Right.
And
which in this case might be gun control, and in the case of 9/11 is the Patriot Act, and they always have a real quick solution. Congress never moves faster than when it's a problem that basically.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And when our rights are on trial here for some of these natural disasters, or national tragedies, whatever.
When you said national disasters, that's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, for these national tragedies, when our rights are on trial, there needs to be an actual trial. There needs to be a presentation of forensic evidence of letting the people know this is why we want to take your rights away, and this is why it needs to happen. But when they do it in the name of dead people, you're just an asshole for asking questions, because look at the dead person.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. You hide behind the meat shield of fallen soldiers or whatever, and like it's the wrapped in the flag thing, and you're just like you're now branded a terrorist for wanting to find the truth of something, and you're insensitive, even though we all know there's something fishy going on. Another thing about Ciesieslki, he was in a car accident, and he was filmed at the scene, and he was clearly, heavily intoxicated, and he was let walk out of the scene, and his fucking handlers went back into his car and pulled out a bunch of questionable items and everything. So what I'm saying basically is there are certain people that are put in positions of power. They're fucking puppets. They're the people that are willing to play ball. It's all theater. Most politicians that are put into positions of power of any, real notoriety at any real high level. I'm not saying like your local, like, councilman or whatever, like, but, people that are like governor and president.
Right?
That, I'm sure that's probably too. Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're trying to, implant the next generation. And they realize that, the framework of the country is still has enough integrity that you can do stuff on a state level, but until you really get into that little town and puncture that council, you're not going to.
There's ways to infiltrate it.
Yeah, you're going to have these resistant pockets that are going to really frustrate your agenda.
Yeah, that's true. But my big thing with this and like with the Las Vegas shooting is like how the system works, and it's the same. The Las Vegas shooting is not. I'm not just saying the same as other shootings. I'm saying it's the same as other events. I'm saying it's the same as COVID. I'm saying it's the same as 9/11. I'm saying it's the same as wars. I'm saying this is what we're basically been given. Like, here, eat your cookie, eat your news cookie. This is what's going on, and there's all this other shit that's going on. And there's hundreds, 800 plus 911 calls over the city about different things and, dead people and shots fired and everything else. And there's one shooter.
Yeah.
That's the story. And I'm like, what are we talking about? One shooter with this? Like,
right.
And then people that are like, oh, we were running from multiple shooters down on the street over by the Flamingo or the Tropicana. They're dead now. They're fucking dead now. Like, what are we doing?
And if we're going to explore the Saudi angle again, just going to harken back to when Trump took office, one of his first acts as president was to go over to Saudi Arabia
and touch that little ball thing.
The largest arms deal in human history.
Oh, yeah,
the Saudi government.
Yeah.
With the stated purpose that Mohammed bin Salman was going to be crowned Saudi king.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all, you might have seen the photo, they're all hovering around the Palantir one night.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
They're all putting their hands on the glowing orb.
It's the glowing ball thing, yeah.
What the hell was going on with that? What in the pagan ritual was that?
That's what I was going to say. It looks like a ritual.
Yeah, and then the next thing he's at the in Israel touching the other wall and stuff like that. So it's like,
He's just going and touching a bunch of sacred things,
Yeah.
And then he gets
grubby hands on it.
Next to the church with his Bible,
Yeah.
Are we sure this isn't how COVID spread? Just him going and touching a whole bunch of different things.
Oh yeah, great.
What's your favorite Bible verse? All of them. It's all of them.
So, if it was a power struggle, that was this was all armed and funded by us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting with like all this stuff. If you take one event like this, you just go all in and learn as much as you can about it. It's like it just opens your eyes to all these other events that happen. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they all string together quite nicely or quite scarily, however you look at it,
Right.
But the more I look into these things, they're not isolated events. This is like to be expected. This is how this goes. I am rarely surprised anymore by anything because I'm like, oh no, it makes sense. And I'll be honestly, next it's going to be a UFO attack on fucking DC or something. I won't be surprised. Like and it won't be UFOs either, but.
All right. We're going to wrap up on this topic. Stephen, I'm going to have everybody give one takeaway that you got from doing research or whatever. So Stephen, what's your takeaway from our conversation or what you think about the
So, my takeaway is just what I was saying earlier was, if your rights are going to be on trial for something, there needs to be an actual trial. They need to actually make a case. We need some common sense legislation control. Let's drug test our representatives that want to talk about taking your rights away. Let's figure out where their money's coming from. Let's do a full forensic analysis on the backgrounds of these folks that want to take things away in the wake of a tragedy, rather than just grieve with us, mourn with us, provide us some comfort. And by the way, the comfort does not come in the form of more government. This was an absolute tragedy, whether it was just Stephen Paddock alone or whether it was a, Saudi power struggle or, any number of other things, whatever it was, people are dead and it's freaking terrible. But that doesn't mean that I don't get to own a pistol.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. All right, Alden, what's your takeaway?
Especially when I suspect that people are trying to basically set these things up to take away the pistol kind of a thing, like, or to establish a precedent for it. It's even all the more reason to not, like, if it is, and if you can prove that it is fishy and that it is, you know, there's at least gray areas where, I mean, the LVPD is at least involved and they're at least inept, and I would argue malicious, but inept is bad enough. I would say read between the lines of things and look for where there is conflict of interests, follow the money. If there are things that, you know, hundreds of eyewitnesses, you know, and I don't always put just like all my eggs in the eyewitness basket, but if there are truly hundreds of eyewitnesses, hundreds of phone calls that come in, and where there are hundreds of phone calls, that's official accounts or whatever, there's probably thousands of more eyewitness accounts if we were to actually launch an investigation. But we don't follow up on any of these things, and so it's just shut down. And we didn't even get into the whole deadbolt thing, and where like the initial photo of it, it was in, and then they're like, oh wait, if we kicked in the door, it's got to be out or whatever, and then it was out. And like, what I'm saying is, look into things yourselves, please. If something feels fishy, it probably is for a reason. And, you know, why are we have, like, Las Vegas has got to be one of the most monitored cities in the world. It's got to be one of the most watched cities on earth. And we haven't been released any footage from any of the other hotels where there are, it's not one person, it's not three people, it's hundreds of people that are like, someone was shot at Tropicana, someone was shot at Bellagio, someone was shot at wherever, and we've not had a single bit of footage come out from these things. To me, that's deeply fishy. I don't understand like why more people aren't like suspect here like about this, but anyway,
Sam,
read between the lines and ask questions.
Sam, what's your one big takeaway?
Just that, like, it once you know, like he's talking, once you look into the details and everything that happened, it's just so overwhelming that this was you know, a false flag attack. I mean, there's just evidence on evidence on evidence, and it's just crazy. And, you know, just the goofy things they tried to do to cover it up, like, you know, the helicopters turning off their signal over the location and then turning it back on over location after the shooting happened. Just crazy things where they didn't do a great job of covering any of this up.
That's like the helicopter version of like, oh, my thumb's gone. Like, good God, like.
But like, the only reason they can get away with it is because of the media. And so like when you look at, you know, what we should do as libertarians, it's, you know, yeah, run for office. Yeah. You know, try to work on legislation and coalitions and all this stuff. But like the number one thing you got to do is you got to talk about it, and you got to infiltrate the media. And, you know, if you know someone who's doing a good job of that, like support them and, you know, share their stuff and stuff, because that alone is the key to, you know, unraveling this stuff. Because once
to organically really try your best to, because we're fighting against the powers that be in terms of media, and I think there's certain like quote unquote trusted media that's paid and established and is, you know, fed bullshit to, you know, feed us the bullshit. And then there's everyone else that's not even just on a level playing field fighting for viewership or whatever. We're getting stepped on. We're getting kicked off of YouTube. We're getting kicked off of other things or whatever, because what we're saying is going against this. So I very much think that's super important. I didn't mean to step on your toes with that. I'm sorry, Sam. But like, I really appreciate the focus on the media as an angle to both be aware of and to help.
Yeah. And there's a really great quote. It's the people are allowed to believe anything, but they're not allowed to know anything.
That is a good quote.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
the questions we're told not to or not allowed to ask are the ones we need to be asking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of promoting people who are doing good,
the
lady who directed this documentary, you can go over to Rumble. Conspiracy Truths is her channel. It's the Route 91 documentary. I think it's called Uncovering the Cover-Up once you get into it, but she did a fantastic job of compiling a mass of information into a like digestible format.
It's really well done, honestly. It covers a lot.
Yeah.
When I knew I was going to be on this show and I had to research it, I was just panicking. I was like, "Where's their information? There's no information anywhere. I'm not going to read CBS or ABC or anything like that." So I messaged Jose Gallison. I'm like, "Do you know anything where it point me in the right direction?" He's like, "Here's a documentary."
Yeah.
There we go. That's
all
that's the one. Yep.
Every once in a while, there's something that's like so concise and so well done and so like approachable that it's just like it becomes the like go-to one for something. I feel like this is like the loose change of the Las Vegas shooting kind of thing, like the one that everyone's just like, "Have you seen this?" It's like the first thing they ask, But
yeah, it is. It is. It's so funny. All right, y'all. Guess what time it is? It is Libations trivia.
Your audio's kind of.
Yeah, is that? I was just gonna say, is that me or you? Yeah.
Oh, is that me? Was I doing something?
Oh, now you sound.
Hey, there you are.
Go. I think it's illegal to not have a libation during Libations trivia, so I'm gonna go refresh here real quick.
Okay, I'll explain the rules because Sam, you've not played. You've not been on the show before.
Right.
We got 3 categories today: this day in history, stock market, and World War I. It consists of 3 rounds, obviously. 10 questions in the first, 5 in the second, 3 in the third, 1, 2, and 3 points respectively. The first contestant, I will read out the questions because we used to have a problem where Zane, who is a fast reader, would read the questions before anybody else had the chance to and would answer. So now I read the questions. You got to reach towards your camera, basically, for me to call on you. First person to answer the correct answer gets the points. You cannot answer a second time if you get it wrong the first time until everybody else has answered. If you blurt out an answer when it's not your turn, you lose a point. And we have only done this one time, but the winner picks a topic to discuss the following episode. We basically never do.
We never do it. Yeah.
We've got to come up with a different deal.
If I win, Las Vegas shooting.
Oh, good God. I don't think I can do this
2
weeks in a row. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting all y'all's names in the scoreboard. We don't have Zane. It's fantastic.
Zane is in the audience, representing the audience.
Is he in the audience?
Yes, he is.
He'll win. I'm curious what Zane thinks about everything that was just blasted about the Las Vegas thing, because he said that he didn't have anything like to add to it. So I wonder what his thoughts are on that.
Yeah. That was an hour ago, so we might have lost him.
Hopefully we lost him because Zane has won 10 times. Alden and Nick have won 4 times. Guest has won twice. Steve has won twice, and the audience has won once. And Zane likes to say that he was in the audience the only time that they won. So let's do this. Sorry, I only have one screen tonight, which is very frustrating because I have to bounce back and forth. So if you just bear with me. Okay. Round 1, this day in history. Question number 1. On this day in 1781, the Americans defeated the British in which battle? On this day in 1781, the Americans defeated the British in which battle? Alden.
Battle of the Bulge? I don't even know if that's...
We were not fighting the British during the Battle of the Bulge.
I just wanted to say Bulge.
Yeah.
I can only think of Bunker Hill, and I know we lost.
And Alden, that was a terrible reach to the camera, man. Like you literally just did this.
Hi.
You gotta do that.
Me. You gotta heil, yeah.
I'm shocked y'all don't know this one. I thought this was a gimme.
I guess not. I don't know.
It was in the Revolutionary War. Come on.
I mean, we know it's in the Revolutionary War, even though I named it.
Okay, here's a hint. Well, this isn't a hint for Sam so much, but it's a hint for the other two. This was an answer in a question in the last 3 weeks. Oh my gosh. Y'all really don't know.
Wait a minute. I remember something. It's coming back to me.
9, 8.
I'm just going to feel... Steven's got something.
The
Battle of Philadelphia.
No. 5, 4.
That's what I was going to guess.
2, 1. Yorktown. We're not off to a good start, y'all.
No, definitely not.
Horrendous start.
My brain got so honed in on the Vegas thing that like it's useless for everything else right now.
Don't make excuses. You always lose. So here we go. On this day in 1987, the stock markets had the largest ever one-day crash, known by what name? Alden.
Black Tuesday?
Wrong.
Dang it.
Stephen.
Black Friday.
Wrong.
No, wait.
Nope. Sam gets it.
Dang it.
Sam, if you have an answer.
Black Monday.
Dang it.
Black Monday is correct.
Dang it.
I love it.
Wow. I was torn between those two.
All right. Question number
Not
3.
luck at all. I'm just a genius.
On this day in 1985, which rental company opened up their first store? Alden.
Hertz.
Wrong. Stephen.
Dang it.
Avis.
Wrong. Sam, you got an answer? Yep.
No, I don't.
No. Okay. Alden.
Enterprise.
No. Stephen.
Aaron's.
What?
Aaron's?
What is Aaron's?
You can rent furniture and stuff.
Okay. No.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron. All right, it's opened up. Whoever wants it, just start blurting things out.
What are we renting?
It would give it away.
Would it?
It would. 100% without a doubt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
10 seconds left.
It's dildo rental. There's only one.
Blockbuster. Movie.
Is that it? Is it you?
Blockbuster is correct.
I went car rental like on everything. All of my guesses.
Yeah, y'all really hung in there with the car rental agency. Okay.
Car and furniture.
On this day in 1982, which automaker was arrested in a $24 million cocaine deal? This is a hard one, but you do know the automaker.
Is this an American? I have a question. Is this an American automaker?
Oh, dadgummit. I can't. Hang on. I can't call on anybody just yet. I got to do a little bit of research. To see if he. Yes, he was an American. Alden, do you have an answer?
I don't know American automakers. In 1982? Mr. Dodge? I don't know.
Steven.
Oh, crap.
I was just stalling because I don't know.
Yeah,
I will give a hint. Okay. After everybody has answered once.
I'm gonna go with Chevy. Maybe a Chevy executive.
Nope. Sam, you got
Mr. Chevy.
You got a guess?
Henry Ford.
Incorrect.
1982.
This car, his famous car, was featured in a cult classic movie. Steven.
The DeLorean.
Oh, okay.
Nice. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, $24 million cocaine deal. It's crazy.
That's huge. Okay.
In the 80s.
On this day in 1812.
I didn't know cocaine was a thing back then.
In the 80s. No, but Henry Ford was. Yeah.
Yeah.
On this day in 1812, who began their disastrous retreat from Russia and who was their leader? Alden.
Napoleon. Or the French.
There we go.
And Napoleon.
Oh, wow. Oh, there we go. Boom. Sorry. You are correct. Good call. Good call. All right. Let's see. Next question. On this day in 1789, who was sworn in as the first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court?
What year?
1789. It's a hard one.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll start with a hint. He signed the Constitution. Alden.
Hancock.
No.
Adams. Oh, sorry.
Incorrect.
Yeah, you have to Heil first.
Steven.
Aaron Burr.
No. Alden.
Madison.
No.
Dang it.
Sam.
John Hancock.
Nah, Alden already guessed him.
Is it Steven again?
Steven. You know, I said he signed the Constitution. Now,
but did he?
Oh, no.
Misinformation. That's what we're here for.
Well, the audience, no, the audience has not gotten it yet either.
No.
No, not yet.
Joe Biden.
Joseph Biden.
Joe Biden. He was there.
Alden.
Monroe?
No. Hang on. Let me make sure. Let me make sure.
Yeah, let's fact check, Jake.
Okay. Yeah. I am 99% certain after preliminary research that he was that he did sign the Constitution. Or Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution. My bad.
Wait,
All
so
right.
which one?
No one signed the Constitution. Everyone they signed the Declaration of Independence. That's what
Jefferson.
I misspoke. 5, 4, Alden.
John Jay. John Jay.
What?
My man.
What?
When you said Jefferson, the J sound, I was like, that was my last guess, honestly.
There we go. On this day in 2005, the trial of which foreign president began for his crimes against humanity? 2005.
Which foreign president?
Which foreign president trial began for crimes against humanity? Steven.
Kim Jong-un?
Incorrect. Alden. Alden, you waved. You have to
I
have an answer.
did. I'm so
You
sorry.
gotta come wave. It's
Is
back
it
open to the floor until you.
Hussein? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking it was one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what threw me off was trial, because I remember watching the live stream of him being pulled out of a spider hole and getting his ass beat.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a trial, so I was just like, what makes sense with 2005-ish time? But
You didn't remember the trial because they spoofed it in Arrested Development.
oh, they did. And then they
Freaking
had
great.
that scene where they're like, if only we had photographic evidence and of this, and it showed a picture of shaking hands Hussein and Rumsfeld or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and they had the house full of Saddam Hussein lookalikes, and the guy who actually got convicted wasn't Hussein in the show, and he was noscar.com. It was a call. Never mind. This is way insane.
it's a deep cut reference. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I know that show backwards and forwards. On this day in 1962, which legendary boxer was born?
62.
Sam.
Muhammad Ali.
Nope. Steven.
Joe Frazier.
Nope. Alden.
Mike Tyson.
No. It's back open to the floor. Steven.
George Foreman.
No. Alden.
Sugar Ray Robinson?
No.
No, he was like boxing in the 60s, actually.
Steven.
Evander Holyfield.
Evander.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
One of the best ever.
I used to hang out with him at the bowling alley in Fayetteville.
You did?
Yeah, he would always talk to me. So like the Fayetteville Police Department had a bowling league, so I'd be there all the time, and he'd be there. So it was him and Gary Coleman. They would be there almost every day.
What?
Gary
That's it.
Coleman was an asshole.
Oh, interesting.
Gary Coleman cussed me out, dude. I was 8 years old.
I cannot wait to clip this
8
part of
years
the
old. I think Steven should win no matter what.
Evander would take a picture with me. He'd let me hang on his arm while he flexed. We'd take a picture, and then he'd sign something for me. He always signed everything. Philippians 4:13. He was a cool dude.
That's so cool.
Amazing. That's incredible.
We need to see those pictures.
Seriously.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
On this day in 1969, which American screenwriter, actor, and producer known for comedy was born? And I will give a hint after everybody answers once.
Nice.
Say it again.
On this day in 1969, which American screenwriter, actor, and producer known for his comedy was born? Alden.
Will Ferrell.
Incorrect.
Dang it.
Sam.
Adam Sandler?
Nope.
Screenwriter.
Steven.
Paul Rudd.
Incorrect. He is a co-writer of one of the longest running animated shows comedy ever. Alden.
Matt Groening or whatever his name is?
Nope.
Steven.
Seth MacFarlane.
No. Good guess, though. Sam, you got a guess?
No.
All right. Another hint. The show was on Comedy Central and now is on HBO. Alden.
Oh, well, that is not what I was going to say. Wait, it was on Comedy Central, now it's on what?
HBO.
Key and Peele? I don't know.
No. Steven?
I was going to say Jason Alexander, like for Duckman, but
incorrect. No. Nikki is also incorrect.
Yeah, before that, I was going to say Seinfeld, and then you were like, Comedy Central. Like, never mind. Like,
all right. 5, 4, 3,
Conan?
2, 1. Trey Parker.
Oh, South Park.
South Park.
I went with The Simpsons. I forgot about South Park.
Grumpy says, wait, John Oliver is a comedian? That's pretty good.
Not anymore.
Final question of round 1. On this day in 1914, which battle began in Belgium between Allied and German forces, eventually leading to 3 separate battles for this city? This is the hardest question of round 1. Steven.
Battle of the Bulge?
Incorrect.
That's what I had said before. We'll just name the Battle of the Bulge just every battle now. Like,
yeah.
It's just fun to say.
This one is hard. In fact, I don't even know if the pronunciation of the word is correct.
Let's fuck it up. That's our job.
I got no idea.
Belgium? I know World War II Belgium. I don't think I know World War I Belgium.
All right. Well, if the hint wasn't already there, it's a city in Belgium.
Wait.
Alden.
Let's just go with Brussels,
Nope. Steven.
He took mine.
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is Ypres. Ypres.
Clearly, I would have gotten there.
I looked up the pronunciation, and it was pronounced in like it had to be 4 different ways that sites pronounced it. It was very
creepers.
We are the knights who say
After 1 round, Alden has 3, Steven has 2, Sam has 2, audience has diddly squat. Suck it, Zane. Second round is stock market collapses. Question number 1. Starting off easy here, yo. In what year did the Great Depression begin? Alden.
1920. Oh man, now I'm afraid to say 20 something. 21?
Wrong.
Dang
Steven.
it.
1922.
No, Sam.
1929.
Dang it! I was Why did I say 1? The Roaring 20s, man.
The audience
the end
says they have 1. Do we remember what their? Oh yeah, it was Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Or no.
Yeah.
No, Sam got Blockbuster. What was the 1?
I got Blockbuster.
Give him 1. I don't know.
Okay,
Give him 1 for being here.
Y'all tell me what the 1 was, and I'll go ahead and put it in the deal.
I'm so mad that
she got Blockbuster.
What's that?
Maybe she did.
Yeah, Nikki did post a comment, but I think she posted it like right after Sam said it.
Yeah, Sam already had it at that point. But
I will fight for that.
Fair enough. Okay. Question number 2. Which stock market index is often used to gauge the performance of the U.S. stock market? An index which collapsed during the dot-com bubble burst of 2000 to 2002. Steven.
Dow Jones.
Incorrect. Alden.
S&P?
Incorrect. Sam, the floor is yours.
No idea.
Steven.
NASDAQ.
NASDAQ is correct.
Damn it. Yeah. Good call.
There we go.
We danced around it. We got there.
Nikki says she got Blockbuster before Sam said it. We have a fight. Sam, defend yourself.
I think the video will reveal that I was correct and said it first. If you play it back.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Which famous mathematician and economist is known for predicting the South Sea bubble in the 18th century? Alden.
I have no idea. I thought it was going to be something totally else, like predicting the end of the world. I was going to be like Nostradamus, but like I have no idea.
Sam.
Mises?
No, I like the guess though. Steven, you got a guess? So everyone knows this guy. Everyone knows this guy.
Everyone?
What century?
I don't think I said. Oh, 18th century.
18th.
Oh,
okay. René Descartes?
No, good guess though. Back open to the floor. Which famous mathematician and economist is known for predicting the South Sea bubble in the 18th century? He's more known as a mathematician. Sam.
Bastiat?
Nope. So I can't see all the comments, y'all, every time. I can see them right when they come in, but they sometimes disappear. So I can't go back and read all of them unless I'm actually on the YouTube feed. Apologies. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Albert Einstein.
1. No.
18th century. Yeah. Pythagoras.
Sir Isaac Newton.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He was a physicist. He wasn't a mathematician.
He was both.
He was a
Yeah.
mathematician.
Yeah, let's throw that one out for sure.
I mean, he invented calculus basically, so I would call him a mathematician.
Yeah, I would.
Do you know he invented calculus like on a dare? Basically, someone was like, "You can't do it," and he was like, "Fuck you!" Yeah.
He was in quarantine or something, because there was some kind of plague going around. I was like, "Do you know how bored you have to be to invent calculus?" Oh my god! Well, and how high do you have to be? Because how does a point have a slope?
Are you trying to give a
It's
silver lining advocacy here for lockdowns?
Well, no. He's trying to compare that calculus came out of his lockdown and TikTok videos came out of ours.
Right.
Yeah.
TikTok
Exactly.
dancing came out of our lockdowns.
I have a deep respect for algebra and trig and geometry because that's how I make a living.
Calculus and porn videos where you're caught in a dryer. That's where we're at. That's the creativity level of today.
We're gonna move
family show.
Yeah.
In the 17th century, speculative trading of which product in the Netherlands led to a market collapse? Stephen.
Tulips.
Dang it.
Tulips.
Yeah. It's so true.
Wow.
It's so messed up, man.
Can you say that again?
In the 17th century, speculative trading of which product in the Netherlands led to a market collapse?
Yep. They got to be where certain tulip bulbs were valued as much as some houses at the time.
It was called Tulip Mania. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's the tulip bubble. It's bad.
Every crypto
Good job,
bubble
Steven.
has been compared to Tulip Mania.
Oh, yeah.
Every time crypto pops, is this Tulip Mania? Jim Cramer. This is Tulip Mania.
Wow.
Jim Cramer would say that. No, good call, Steven. That's awesome.
What is the term for a strategy in which investors borrow money to invest in stocks, hoping to profit from the price appreciation, but face significant risks in a market downturn? I think Sam was first.
Go ahead, Sam. Yeah.
Hedge fund?
Nope. Steven, I think you were next.
Leverage.
Nope. Alden.
Living on a prayer.
Incorrect.
Dang it.
Steven.
Margin trading.
Margin trading.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Bravo.
It's not living on a prayer?
I mean, in essence, it is, but that's
halfway
not what
there.
it's called.
Yeah.
After 2 rounds, Steven has 8. Sam
Nice.
has 4. Alden has 3. And the audience has a speculative 1.
A tentative. Give him the 1.
All right. Round number 3, World War I. And just for people who don't know, this is the hardest round because
That's how you know who's the dad.
3 points each. Exactly. Exactly. Which battle, known for its extreme carnage and heavy casualties, is often called the meat grinder of World War I?
I mean,
if you listen to Dan Carlin history, you should know this one.
Just make it worse because I've heard
the meat
that so many
grinder.
times.
Sam.
Can't think of the name of it. Never mind. I think I can think of what it is.
Okay. Alden.
Iwo
No.
Congress.
Incorrect. Steven, you got an answer? Grumpy wins. The battle for No Mill.
Nice. Yeah.
It's got
Incorrect.
I don't know what the battle is, but it's where they drew the Maginot Line.
The Battle of the Bulge.
Or is that World War
It's coming
II?
back.
Sam.
Normandy?
Nope.
That's World War II.
That's 2, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I said. I know 2 better than 1, so this is not my day here.
It is what it is. It was the other option I had for today was going to be baseballs, and I knew that would piss you off.
Oh man, Mickey Mantle for like every. What did I did the thing where like I said Ted Williams twice, and it actually worked last time. I know like 3 names if it's not Babe Ruth, you know.
All right, 10 seconds.
Trench warfare.
That was an answer on a previous trivia.
Yeah.
5.
Really?
4, 3, 2, 1. The Battle of Somme or Somme or however you pronounce that daggum word.
I was so close.
Some bitch.
Some bitch.
Yeah, some bitch. I should have known that one.
Question.
Was that the one in the Black Forest? Grumpy Gnome is asking.
That's a good question. Let's find out before we move on.
The Schwarzwald.
Somme.
God bless you.
Let's see. I'm not saying anything about a Black Forest.
I do remember that battle. They were like, "Do you guys want to dig in and fight this out?" And they're like, "Hell no! Let's just go on it on foot. We're sick of sitting in these trenches."
Perfect. It was. I don't think it was the one in the Black Forest. Just FYI. Question number 2. Signing of the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with the Central Powers. Which country withdrew from World War I due to turmoil within their own borders?
Who was? I feel like Steven and I both went up at the similar time.
Oh, I was still reading the daggum question. Who?
I think it was Steven.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
have
Steve.
that, Alden. If you want to.
Ooh. I'm gonna throw
signing the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with the Central Powers. Which country withdrew from World War I due to turmoil within their own borders?
I don't know. Australia? Are they even involved?
Incorrect. Steven?
Yeah.
Italy.
Nope. Sam, the floor is yours. Grumpy is incorrect.
Russia.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Russian Revolution was happening
Nice.
during that time.
Every
Bravo.
point has just been pure luck. I don't know how I'm doing it.
Beginner's luck, man.
All right, Sam, if you get this, you win. Steven, if you get this, you win. Alden,
What if I get
you
it?
get this, nothing happens.
If I get it,
Yeah.
who wins?
I gotta say, he's as smart as a whip.
If Alden gets it, Steven wins.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Sam, your life is in your own hands right here. Oh, gosh. Okay. Question number 3. Who was the last Kaiser of the German Empire that ended with World War I? Steven. You have to get the full...
I tried to rescind that wave right as I was doing it.
Okay, you can rescind it. You can rescind it.
I'll say Wilhelm.
You got it.
Wow. I'll give you the second.
Did I have a graphic too?
Yeah, when did we get the graphic going on?
I got the graphic going last week. And,
okay.
Nice.
I meant to upload the guest graphic, but I forgot to today. So yours would have been sad.
Yours would have been a placeholder, like a cat or something. Like.
So the final score was Stephen 11, Sam 7, Alden 3, audience 1. Bravo, y'all.
Zane.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Good job.
Nerds.
Let's see. I'm going to see which things I want to talk about since we're running out of time and I have a hard out.
By the way, Wilhelm was the only Kaiser I've ever known. So
perfect.
Aside from the role.
Russia's the only country I know of.
Even watching a lot of CNN, man. Yeah.
We're just gonna talk about one story and then a few funny videos, and we're gonna ditch it after that because it's my sister-in-law's birthday today, and I'm supposed to be there right now. But I was like, this podcast is too important.
Nice.
Twitter user Douglas, I gotta turn this daggum music off. There we go. Twitter user Douglas Mackey sentenced to 7 months in prison after being found guilty of election interference for making memes disparaging Hillary Clinton.
For real?
For real.
Well, Jesus Christ, I'm about to get the death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Damn, man.
Dude, it's bonkers. The precedent this sets, we can talk about it. Like, first thoughts, like first reactions. It's clear that y'all did not know about this.
No, I did not know about this.
By the way, which country is this?
I did hear about that.
Okay. Yeah. What are our thoughts on it? Like, what?
Which country is this in the U.S.?
Yeah.
My initial thought is just like they can get you on anything.
Yeah. This was in New York.
If they decide, hey, I want this guy out of the way, I mean, they can just do it. I mean, they're just doing this in broad daylight. It's a national headline, and it's just crazy.
Well,
it's the same with the January 6th things. You know, you got all those. They just had another January 6th, and no one gives a crap. You know,
if I ever disappear one day, it's the few years that my gender identity was Kekistani. So, just a heads up.
Well, Sam, you're totally right, man. Like, what was it? 300 people went stormed into the Capitol today to protest the fake bombing of the hospital. And they were all just arrested, kicked out. We're never going to hear about them again. No one's going to get solitary confinement out of it. How
many decorated war veterans are going to get 10 years in prison for that protest? I'm talking about Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you think of, it's just the tiny, tiny tip of the iceberg is what we're seeing. But you think of how corrupt just, nobody's like me, just disappear all of a sudden and get charged with stuff. I know someone, they left their business open during the lockdowns and they got hammered hard and stuff like that. And then just suddenly, they had a raid and they stole all their computers and all that stuff. And they just said there was child porn, or they uploaded child porn. It's like they can just make you go like that, and they don't have
man.
It's crazy.
Well, due process in this country is dying. Like, you are, as soon as you're accused of something these days, that is enough to be basically convicted in public perception. And so, like, the
public opinion courts,
yes, public opinion is the only thing that matters nowadays. Like, it can literally ruin your life to be accused of anything, any type of wrongdoing.
I feel like I'm living in a fucking Monty Python sketch, man. This is a bad time to be alive.
I mean, the daggum dude made memes. He made memes.
The question I'd like to ask him though was it worth it? Because I bet it was.
Right. Like if it really swayed the election, totally worth it. Thank you, bro.
I want to see what kind of memes he creates from prison. I want him to have a Twitter feed from prison.
Right.
Just keep creating those memes, man. I love
Well,
it.
thankfully it's New York and not Atlanta, because otherwise he'd be dead from bed bugs in 2 months.
That's very true.
The most illegal meme ever.
Right?
That's insane, man.
Dude, it's great. I mean, it does kind of just leave you speechless for the most. I couldn't.
I don't know what to do with that, man. That's the most upsetting thing I've heard doing this show thus far, man.
Yeah, I mean, so they construed it as election interference. That's what they call it, and it's like
now
they
is it
blatantly
the
admitted
ping pong stuff. Like, is it the pedo scandal? Is he saying that she was running kids out of a pizza parlor in DC? Like, is it something like that, or like, is it just like?
And then what would it matter, even if
yeah.
that were true? You know what I mean? Like, on the principle of it, if you're not allowed to make a comment on your leaders, then we're North Korea. I mean, for real. Like,
does it show the meme?
I would like to see it. Not that it matters, but
let me. Well, I can't click on it.
Well, if he went to prison for it, we're definitely getting banned for it.
A meme is commentary. If you're not allowed to make political commentary,
I think he impersonated Hillary Clinton and said something wild or something like that.
Well, unless he's the one that started. If you want to vote for Hillary Clinton, vote from home by texting. Like
that's what I think it was. Yeah,
I believe that was one of the things that they.
I wonder how many people actually believe that. Please tell me it was thousands and thousands. Yeah. So something like that. That's the only way I can see it.
Email
deemed election interference.
It's just crazy that like a few months after the election, who was it? Was it the New York Times, Washington Post? One of those came out with an article, literally, basically bragging about all these people who conspired together to help rig the election in Joe Biden's favor.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember that story? I forget which article it was, but
but you're allowed to say it.
You're allowed to do it if you're associated with the corporate press.
New York Times article.
New York Times. That's who it was. Yeah.
And if you're in favor of like the chosen candidate.
Well, and as long as you're a communist, you're allowed to, break windows and stomp people down and burn down Buckhead, Atlanta, Georgia.
There you go.
But the instant they think you run to the left of Mao, you're going to jail.
Man.
This is why a lot of times in my podcast, I'll just jokingly say, get the vaccine and, just all sorts of talking points for the algorithms.
Yeah.
Just so they don't look at me. I don't know if it works.
It's insane that you're like allowed to promote getting a vaccine, tell someone what to do with their lives in that way. But if you turn the other side, which on principle is the same, on principle, you're telling someone what to do with their lives regarding the same topic, and then you're treated in the opposite way. It's crazy.
Right. Like if you make memes, trust the science. Against Hillary Clinton, take the vaccine. That sways the election, vote Democrat.
Save the planet.
Well, this is why.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also why Jordan Peterson's so dumb when he keeps telling people not to tweet from alternative or incognito accounts or whatever, whatever you call that. It's like you almost got to. Like my name's already kind of out there, and it's like I really should go back and like erase myself and have a show from just be completely anonymous because it's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, if you're living right, you're already on the list.
Right.
Point blank.
I had someone say we shouldn't go to a Second Amendment rally. He's like, yeah, but if you do that, like you'll be on a list. And it's like, you're in the party. Like, what do you think we're doing?
Yeah, like if you ever made a donation, you have to give them all your information. The FEC has this. They know you made what donation and when and to whom. You're already there. And then all of that. But if if you're friends with one of these people, God forbid they pay you for glue or poster board or sandwiches, before they go to a protest. Well, now you're incriminated from that.
Yeah. And you think of how many like smart people know all this, and then they just shut up, or they just start saying, like all the people from Conservative Inc. They'll just start saying the right things. They'll start being war hawks and stuff because they know, like they're in the industry. They know what's going to happen if they don't toe the narrative.
Right. Yeah. which I haven't watched last week's episode. You gotta forgive me for that. But everybody's trying to weigh in on the Palestinian war. If you're coming at it from the evangelical angle, I just want to remind you that the whole thing of like not taking the Lord's name in vain isn't just saying, "Oh my God," flagrantly. It's also committing atrocities in the name of God,
right?
Or using,
I would think, would be worse,
God's name to justify going to war.
Yeah.
Ixnay on the Usaid's cray. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, I just thought we'd end on a super awesome note where freedom of speech is just basically gone.
No, man, I'm bummed out, man. That is legitimately one of the most concerning things I've heard in 6 years. I don't know. That's
right.
Bad.
Let's get you unbummed. Let's watch 4 funny videos and then we'll call it a night. How about that? Here we go.
A Pop-Tart, it's so frickin' good. Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? If you haven't, then I think you should. I was sitting in the kitchen one day and I was itching to fill up my belly with the piping hot jelly of the best damn treat in the world. He's talking Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
And I saw a stick of butter and it almost made me shudder and scream like a baby girl. I don't want a giant penis or a rocket trip to Venus. I don't want to win the lottery. I just want to squat and gobble till I'm dizzy and I wobble in a butter food and dough-tart dream. So I put butter on a Pop-Tart. It was so frickin' good. Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? If you haven't, then I think you should.
Even s'mores Pop-Tart.
So dumb.
Even the s'mores Pop-Tart is perfect.
I've literally never done that, but I'm going to now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So right after it comes out of the toaster, you put butter on the s'mores Pop-Tart and then put a little bit of whipped cream on there. Oh my God.
Oh, whipped cream too.
Yeah, my wife's pregnant, if you can't tell.
Growing up, I always put butter on my peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh, I still put.
That's smart.
Put like butter.
I like
on
that.
Before peanut butter and jelly, like grilled peanut butter and jelly with butter.
Right.
It's fantastic, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Now, if you're making a sandwich, you get some homemade sourdough, put it in the toaster oven or the toaster, right after it's nice and toasty, put that red wine vinegar on it, and then lay the sandwich down. Oh, man.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm in. All right. Here's Mr. Anthony Jeselnik, one of my favorite comedians on his show. Yeah.
And Aaron and myself all decided that we would talk about the Middle East and more importantly, solve some things. Greg, what do you think? Good guy, bad guy, black and white. Who is it? Who you got? Who you supporting on this one?
I think ultimately the good guys here are us because we're addressing the issue. We're talking about it.
Social media doesn't have the bandwidth to do what we're doing right now, which is discussing the issue and letting you know, once again, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Like Greg, coin flip. Just pick one. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Just throw it out. I'll say this. I don't understand anything. All I know, and I can say this with confidence, is you got to knock it off with the missiles. I'd say the bad guys are the missiles. Here's the thing. The difference between guns and missiles. You can't put a flower in the stem of a missile. I think we solved it. I think if it's not solved, the video comes out Wednesday afternoon. If it's not solved by Friday, they're not listening. They're not subscribed. Greg.
if you close your eyes, he sounds like John C. Reilly a little bit.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tiger Belly.
Yes.
This guy's funny.
Yeah.
You have a couch, right?
Yeah.
Do you have another piece of the couch where your feet go on?
Yeah.
That's an
You
ottoman.
have an ottoman.
Yeah.
You're
That's all.
right.
Oh, that's what an ottoman is?
Oh.
You're white, dude.
Oh, I'm about to blow your mind.
Go ahead.
Do you have a dining room, right? There's also a little part off your kitchen that's not really a dining area, but it's just kind of like a little place to like you could snack, right? Yeah. That's a nook, buddy. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. What the did you call me, dude?
You are the Twinkie of this show. That's so good.
And explain Twinkie for the viewers.
It's like yellow on the outside, but white on the inside.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And I'm a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah. I might be one.
I love the internet.
I love the internet. All right. And this is a guy I started watching over 2020, 2021, Caleb W. Francis, one of the funniest guys on Instagram and TikTok. He puts out a ton of these videos just talking to himself in different characters.
What?
Hang on. Sorry about that.
Please, God, stop giving me your toughest battles.
What? You have diarrhea because you ate a gallon of potato salad. I have nothing to do with this. Please, God, stop giving me your tough.
That guy. He does a whole bunch of those. Some where he talks like God creating different insects, different animals, and like he came to a platypus and just didn't know what to do and threw all the leftover body parts at the platypus.
The platypus is seriously like, you know those little like Christmas ornaments where you turn the dial and it's like Santa Claus's head, but like reindeer feet. Like that's what the platypus is, man. It's crazy.
Well, Sam, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow you, all that kind of stuff.
You can find me on the Black Flag Show, and I'm Black Flag Pod on Twitter.
Heck yeah. Sam, appreciate you joining tonight, man. It was a blast.
This is the greatest podcast ever. I had a lot of fun.
You are welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, man. It's good having you on.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
Cheers, everybody. Alden, Steven, y'all got anything to promote right now? Anything going on?
Free Georgia podcast, man. You've been hitting the lick lately. You had Josh Smith, you had Clinton Cowart.
Yeah, thank you.
These guys are killing it.
Yeah, I mean Clinton's killing it in Savannah, so it's going well, and we'll see how Josh.
These guys have some good stuff to say. You just follow that Libertarian Party of Georgia, please. If you feel so compelled to be a member or donate, this is how we do these things we do. This is how we bring content to you. This is how we keep moving. How we put on special events. How we keep the pressure. How we actually have people researching this stuff to bring it to light.
I love it. Absolutely. Go to lpgeorgia.com, learn more, join the party, all that good stuff.
And follow I'm just here Twitter, to promote.
Too. Follow on Twitter at lpgeorgia. It's a good time.
Buddy puts out some great tweets.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Is he in charge of the tweets for the?
He's in charge of all the tweets. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
He does the tweets, but I am technically his boss.
Okay. I'm just here to support.
But I just let him do whatever he wants. It's
sad late night grilled cheese and whiskey.
And for anybody who's still watching this show, the topic we discussed was sensitive. None of us, I'm going to get a nod confirmation from everybody, have suicidal thoughts. All of our break lines work perfectly.
Yeah.
Everything's good in our lives, and there's no reason that we should be dying within the next, year. We'll say.
No. Hillary's emails are on one of my hard drives.
Yeah,
but
I have no history.
Said hard drive is not in my laptop.
I just want to announce that I don't go around with a laptop without a hard drive. So if you find that's suspicious, like let's teach people what suspicious means.
I have no psychological issues. Also,
I have many, but not the suicidal type. Yeah, or homicidal.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week, y'all. Make sure to tune in to the Free Georgia podcast Monday nights at 8 p.m. Tune into this show every Thursday night, 8 p.m. And go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the socials. We'll see you next week, y'all. Peace.
Cheers.